Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. There is some breaking news coming out of the White House on a suggestion that might have a lot of us riled up. Now, before I jump into it, I want to throw out a special thank you to Lawrence Trujillo 65. Lawrence Trujillo, thank you so much for that super generous super comment chat thing. I truly appreciate your support very much. Thank you, brother. I do appreciate you, Lawrence Trujillo 65. All right, jumping into this. President Donald Trump announces that he essentially is making plans to rename Veterans Day. Now, will he change it? Will he not? Who knows? However, before we jump into this, I want to give a little history and context to Veterans Day because, quite frankly, I think it's probably a 50-50 flip on the awareness of the day of Veterans Day. So we'll take a walk through memory lane here. Hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really do appreciate it. Every thumbs up, every minute watched really does help the channel, and I appreciate all of your support. All right, so originally, November 11th was Armistice Day. Now, Armistice Day later became Veterans Day, but it began as a day to commemorate the end of World War I. Specifically, the signing of the armistice on November 11th, 1918. A year later, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as Armistice Day, and it was marked with parades and public gatherings. Over time, the holiday evolved to honor all veterans of all wars, not just those who had served in World War I. All right, so now, going through it, World War I armistice on November 11th, 1918, then Armistice Day proclamation a year later, the early celebrations like we talked about. There's always that, we had that, the 11th hour, the 11th day, a whole kind of process that we would go through. Shift to Veterans Day, right? So after World War II, the holiday was expanded to honor veterans of all wars, and the name was officially changed to Veterans Day in 1954. So what is that? 70 years ago. Or whatever, 71. Now, let's jump into this article that I found here. So now we know that it wasn't always Veterans Day. It was Armistice Day, and then it changed to Veterans Day to honor all veterans of all wars. And now let's go on to this. So there's a bunch of different articles out on this, but it says here, new name for Veterans Day. Trump says he wants to change it. Now let's see here. President Donald Trump wants to rename Veterans Day to Victory Day. And, I don't know, in a weird way, I guess, I see what he's trying to do, right, is America's number one, right? So Victory Day kind of goes with that. So I see that. Maybe we have that on a different day than Veterans Day. Just my opinion. I think I kind of like Veterans Day, but let's move on. Veterans, so wants to rename Veterans Day to Victory Day for World War I as a way to celebrate the United States military victories, he said on a social media post on May 1st. He also said he is pushing to recognize May 8th as Victory Day for World War II. We are going to start celebrating our victories again. So Trump wrote on his social media platform. Now, why change Veterans Day? Well, it goes back to the fact that was kind of the armistice thing, right? So the November 11th. So it's the same day as the armistice. So that's kind of, I think, why it would be a change of the day, the name. So it again, he's basically saying that we're going to start celebrating our victories again. Veterans Day is a federal holiday recognized each year on November 11th. It marks the date when fighting ceased in World War I, though it generally honors American veterans for their willingness to serve, according to the Department of Veterans Affairs. May 8th is not a federal holiday in the United States, though it is recognized as Victory in Europe, VE Day. So remember, there was the two different ones, right? So VE Day in several European countries. Why does Trump want to rename Veterans Day? Well, here goes on. Trump said on social media that he is pushing to rename Veterans Day and formally recognize May 8th as the United States, or in the United States, as a way to acknowledge America's efforts in World Wars I and II. We won both wars. Nobody was close to us in terms of strength, bravery, or military brilliance. But we never celebrated anything. That's because we don't have leaders anymore that know how to do so, he wrote on Truth Social. Moving on here, it says federal holidays, including their names, are created through the legislative process in Congress. Technically, federal holidays are applicable only to federal employees and the District of Columbia, meaning states individually determine their legal holidays according to the Congressional Research Service. So that's why if you ever worked for a state government, typically, your state government recognized holidays or the services provided from those state government institutions, whatever they may be, whether it's a school system or your libraries or whatever it is, they're going to recognize maybe different holidays than your federal holidays, right? So the state and the Fed. Anyway, moving on. The day recognizes the end of fighting in World War I, according to the VA. Though the war between Germany and the Allied powers officially ended with the signing of the treaty on June 28, 1919, fighting ended 7 months earlier on November 11th, 1918, according to the VA. Well, so I don't know. To me, there's another date you could utilize June 28th, the signing of the treaty, as the date to recognize America's Victory Day, and then leave Veterans Day on November 11th, in my opinion. All right, so anyway, because of its significance of the date, Veterans Day falls on November 11th, regardless of the day of the week, in addition to recognizing the end of fighting in World War I. It also serves as a general celebration of America's veterans, according to the VA. So, what is Victory Day? Does the United States recognize May 8th as a holiday? Though Trump said he is pushing to make May 8th a holiday, the date is not federally recognized in the United States. It generally marks Victory in Europe Day, so that would be VE Day, whenever you see that. So VE Day, so when Germany's military sources surrendered to allies, including the United States, in World War II, according to the Department of Defense. So with that, love to get your thoughts on the changing of the name or the addition of another day or an addition of 2 additional days, right? So there's a couple different ones, right? So we got May 8th where he'd want to recognize, then change the name of Veterans Day to Victory Day, or potentially shift that to a different date. Love to get your thoughts on that. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.